Oh, I thought I was going to have my little magic thing pop up. Nothing popped up. What's up, guys? Welcome to the live stream. This is what I wanted to have. One of these days I will get that right. Maybe. No promises. I'm not promises I'm ever going to get that right. But welcome guys to the stream. Thank you guys for being in the chat early. I seen you guys in there doing your thing. You guys are having way too much fun without me while I was getting stuff set up. It's okay. I'll let it slide this once. Next time I need an invitation. We got Anya and Matt on the stream. If you didn't, well, you clicked on the thumbnail. It's kind of hard to miss what it's about. But I'm going to stop blabbing because I feel like I'm sounding like a real idiot right now. But you're watching Triple B TV. Well, so guys, what's up? Welcome to Triple B TV Live, where we mess things up a lot. This is what we're doing, is live. I'm glad you guys came on.
Hey, thanks for having us, Brian.
I first found you guys or heard of you guys through Mr. Eaton's podcast. I think that's the first place I saw you guys' name, but Chris talking about you guys, and anybody that Chris likes is generally gets a instant like thumbs up in my book. That's just kind of how I allow Chris to be my judge of character for me. He's like, oh, is Chris like him? Oh, okay, they must be pretty good people.
You keep the inner circle small that way.
Yeah.
We did get to meet well, at least Anya, you guys are gonna have to forgive me. It was at Texas NARBC at the auction.
Yeah, we sat next to each other at the auction for a little bit.
I was pretty, I feel like I was pretty toasted at that point, maybe. Like
just a little.
I was.
That happens down there occasionally.
I mean, I can usually hold it together pretty well, but I feel like there's a lot of things I feel like people were there was a lot of throwing of things. I think that was the first time at the Texas auction where people started throwing stuff like it was Tinley. Is that accurate? I feel like
it's been pretty common there.
People were throwing gummy worms and candy at that auction, I think, but you were going around hugging everybody. It was pretty funny.
I just met. Well, here's what I remember. I remember that there was something while I was sitting with you guys. There was an item on auction. It was a bottle that you guys had donated to US Arc, and is that accurate?
Yeah, there was something that may have been moonshine. Was that the moonshine show?
I don't remember.
But yeah.
I think it was like the blackberry moonshine or something.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Maybe something. But either way, I just remember I was like, oh, I was sitting next to you guys like, oh, that's our thing that we donated. I was like, oh, I'm gonna win it then. I kept my hand up until I won it, and then I won it, and then I was like, here, I won it for you. You can have it back. And then and then you're like, all right, then we'll just donate it back, and we can auction it off again. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I mean, that's how I remember it.
I think we kept that going for a couple rounds at least.
Yeah, that's to the best of my recollection. That sounds about right too. We'll go with it.
We may have been lightly toasted at that point as well.
Fair enough. I haven't had a drink in it's been like 12 days or something.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like that's nothing. Really. Yeah, that seems like a long time to me too.
I stopped drinking. Let's see. We did one of those reptile Zoom meetings with Chris a few weeks back, and JT was on that one. So I think I had a 6-pack while we were doing the meeting. And then I talked to JT on the phone for like 2 hours after that, and I was mixing drinks, and then I felt like shit the next day. So I'm like, well, I guess I need to take a little break. So we'll do coffee tonight because this is live and unedited.
Oh yeah, well, a lot of times
you can't take back what you say.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about it, is that you can't take back any of what you say. Well, you can take it back later. You can apologize afterwards. Like I'm sorry.
Well, I apologize for anything I may say in advance. How about that?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the clear. There's nothing you can say here that somebody hasn't already said that would. Well, at least not that for myself on any live stream. I've said some things on live streams that maybe most people would advise against having said, but it's okay. It's just words. You can't offend me, and if you can offend anybody in the chat, they shouldn't be down there in the chat anyway.
That's true.
That's a good answer.
So you guys are busy. I got I know that you're and Anya, you were saying that Matt is the face of the business. I just assumed that you were for some reason. Can you tell me what's going on there?
No, she's full of shit.
We both are. I mean, we were talking about this before the Zoom that like here lately we've been doing shows. Either I'm going and doing them or Matt's going and doing them because I have to work or whatever. And it just kind of takes the fun out of it. I mean, we've always done this as a team and we've always been a team with it. So it just, we found ourselves kind of splitting off more this year than we ever have. And it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's a lot less enjoyable doing shows by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's always great to meet your clients and meet new clients and make those conversations, but it's also fun if you're going out of state to let's go get a nice dinner or go, you know, do something in that area that's for us to make it less like work. And then when it's just one of you, I mean, we haul a 20-foot travel trailer to shows. You know, I watch a movie and heat up a lasagna. If it's just me, you know, it's like, you know, 5 o'clock and I'm done. I'm just going to go hang out in the camper. I don't care about doing anything else. So I don't know, just kind of, I don't even know what you'd call that. Go introvert after the show because all you do is talk all day anyway. And
That's true. You put a lot of energy out during the day. Well, if you got your partner in crime, man. I've vended very few. I've attended a lot of shows, but only vended a handful, like the local ones here in California. And I always make sure that I have a partner in crime that's with me at the booth, like that's somebody that's there just for something simple as like a bathroom break or just anything. Like
Yeah.
I always have a buddy. Like even my parents have come sometimes and just done the show with me, just so there's somebody else with you back there. I couldn't imagine just doing it all solo. I mean, I could imagine it, but like you're saying, it's probably so much better to have your partner.
I'm able to get breaks. I mean, we've got a really good group of friends that typically vend the same shows. So, you know, I can send Kevin a message and he can come cover me, you know, and I can go make a sandwich or go to the bathroom and they're good about that. So, but it's still, I mean, it's work. It's a lot of work for a show. It's a lot of time before the show.
Yeah.
And then I don't people understand. I don't think they get that it's, you know, I'm probably 20 to 30 hours before I get to that show, you know, in preparations.
Wow.
I think the show's actually the easy part. I mean, once you get up there, you've already done most of the hard work.
Yeah.
It's the prep before the show and the week leading up to the show, the half the week after, just get everything put up and getting everything fed. I mean, it's an entire 2-week event.
Yeah, I mean, for us,
consider all the unloading and loading and planning and everything else.
I mean, we're in Arkansas. We don't have any shows here, so most of our stuff, you know, we're Texas, Louisiana. Now you've got the St. Louis show, or you know, Tinley. I mean, we're looking at. I mean, Arlington is our home show. That's 5 hours for me to get to. Most of these things are 7-8 hours worth of driving.
Yeah.
So I'm leaving out on Thursday night most of the time. I'll leave at like 5 or 6 o'clock, you know, drive till 11 midnight. That way I can get up there early Friday to get set up. But so before that, I mean, Wednesday you're doing all your prep work, you're polishing your displays, you're relabeling, you know, figuring out what you're bringing. Thursday you're packing up and traveling. Friday you're setting up for the show. Saturday, Sunday you're working, and then I'll try to drive all the way home. Monday, animals are getting set back up. So, I mean, already right there, you're 5 days into that show. And then you still have, you know, we've got one part-time guy that helps us out with animals, but you're still playing catch up. And then it's the first of the week, you've got shipments going out. So it's just, whenever you have that show, it's exhausting. And if we have a few times that you have back-to-back stuff and it's just ready to rip your hair out.
So I got this picture up of you guys at a show right here, and obviously it's a recent show because I mean you guys are wearing masks, and I know we weren't doing that last year. It shows which show was this?
That was St. Louis.
Okay, so that was the first time.
St. Louis and the RBC.
Gotcha. How did that thing turn out?
It was actually really good. I think that was the only show ever where we actually beat sales on Sunday. Like Sunday sales were better than Saturday, so that was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it was not your typical NARBC crowd. I mean, it was volume wasn't there, but sales were fantastic.
Yeah.
I've been missing going to a show, man. I really want to. Maybe I'll just suck it up. I've been not wanting to go to a show and have to do the social distancing thing. It's just weird. Not, I don't know. Maybe I'll just suck it up and go to a show. I just want to see people smile. It weirds me out to like walk around and everybody's like this. It just freaks me out. There's nothing I can do. It just does. It freaks me out. I get it, but it freaks me out. That's why I spend my time outside all the time, because I get to see people outside. Like go to the farmers markets. I get to see people smiling and stuff and not looking like they're all Lone Rangers. How was that for you guys?
It's pretty good. I mean, most people do wear masks. I mean, we try to be respectful. I mean, some of the shows we've done have not required masks. I would say that's a small percentage. Most of them do require the mask. But I mean,
how many shows?
The vast majority of people do wear them.
How many shows have you guys done this year?
A metric ton.
Not as many as we usually do, because a lot of our shows got canceled. But we've been doing shows since June. Like after this whole shutdown. I mean, most of them are in Texas. And then we did St. Louis. And then we did Slidell a couple weeks ago. Or Matt did Slidell.
Yeah.
What's your guys' next show coming up?
It's going to be January Conroe. Austin.
Austin in December. For the Herp Show circuit.
Gotcha. Well, I've heard good things about those shows.
Yeah. I mean, we probably been more shows with them than anybody else. I mean, they're really good promoters.
So I was reading a little bit. I wanted to know a little bit more about it. So you got a farm. You're a soldier. You are reserve officer. You got a
full-time student.
Full-time student.
And you're a full-time student.
Yeah.
And you got kids.
And we have kids. Yeah. And we have snakes. So there's not much downtime. We weren't kidding.
And you're thinking about breeding rodents real soon here.
Well, yeah.
Well, not thinking about. We're already kind of committed, and we're adding rabbits currently as well.
Yeah, we get squirrel brained on stuff. I'm really bad around here for that. You know, you're walking around the farm, you go with your mindset, I'm going to go get this done. And then I'm like, oh, look, the compost pile needs to be turned. So I'll do that. And
let me go cut some trees real quick.
Yeah, it's easy to find stuff to do. But we already committed to the road building. Normally I build everything from the ground up. I'm getting to that point now where I don't feel like doing it. So I bought a 24-foot building and had that brought in. I've got that all insulated. And
your lights are out again.
Yeah, they're out.
So
set the tone.
So I had that brought in last week. So I've got it insulated and I've got metal going up, and all my fans came in this week, and my mini splits I have to go pick up at the hub tomorrow. So we're getting there.
Well, I got a couple of photos here of like kind of farmish farm life. You got your puppies down there.
Yeah, we got a couple Great Pyrenees. Those are our livestock guardian dogs in training, because we have registered goats. So we were wanting to get them out further, get them out into pasture. So we got the dogs for that. So we're training those up.
That's her justification for everything, is if it's livestock related. So like, we already have 2 other dogs. Why do we need 2 more dogs? They're livestock dogs. I'm like, I need a new livestock truck.
Did you say registered goat?
Yes, registered goats.
So can you elaborate on what a registered goat is for me?
They're goats with paperwork and pedigrees and all the fancy stuff, and there's shows. You can show them, you can breed them and register your babies. So we decided to kind of get fancy with the goats, and most of our other farm stuff isn't anything fancy.
It's like buying from a big time breeder rather than Craigslist.
Gotcha. So is it do they participate in like goat yoga or anything like that, or is that like a total California thing?
That may be a California
Yeah,
thing.
you gotta go west for it.
To be fair, I've never seen it happen. I've heard about it.
I don't know that I'd want ours to jump on my back.
No, ours are kind of heavy. I think our heaviest is like 140, 150 pounds. I wouldn't want her on my back.
Ooh, is that what happens in goat yoga? The goat jumps on you?
I don't know.
I think they
I don't
walk
really know
over
what
your
goat
back
yoga is
and
about.
stuff.
Weird,
They have
weird
sharp
stuff.
little hooves. I wouldn't want them walking around on me.
Yeah, no, me either.
They're really fun. I mean, everything here serves a purpose. I mean, our big goal for everything is really sustainability. That also goes back to the rodents. I mean, for the longest time, we've been paying for it, and yet everything we're building out here is to be self-sustained. It's like, well, our business is lacking the key ingredient to be sustainable, so to speak. So it's like, well, we'll have to try to figure out a time to, work this into the equation. But the goats, we get milk from them.
Make cheese.
Made cheese from it. What else do we got? Do we want to go through all the farm animals?
Well, we've got chickens for eggs. We've got quail eggs. We've got quail for meat. We've got chickens for meat. I mean, everything's kind of dual purpose around here. We're working towards sustainability, and that's kind of where we're trying to get the business to, as well as producing for ourselves and not having to rely so much on everybody else. Because,
That's awesome.
in today's economy, you just don't know where things are going to go. You don't know where the rodent supply is going to be in a couple years. I mean, this year has kind of proved things to be unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's nice being prepared. I mean, we have over 400 pounds of meat in the freezer. So if I'm hungry, I don't know, what do we have, 9 pigs out there?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's highly commendable. I'm all about that type of stuff. And we've got a little more small time. We definitely don't have a farm, and my wife does a garden, and we've got chickens for eggs and stuff like that. But that sounds fantastic. I love that type of living, man. I would love to be in a space to be living a little bit more like that. I commend you guys for that. That's I think more people could.
We love it. I mean, you spend all day working with animals, and then our downtime we also work with animals. I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, obviously completely different personalities.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, you know what you're getting out of that too. You take an animal that's really well treated, and they taste delicious. I mean, there's just no way around it. I mean, same thing, a cucumber out of your garden tastes better than one at the store.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Speaking of personalities, you got pigs here. There's one pig. Maybe you can explain for the kids at home. There's a pig trying to climb over another pig.
Well,
that's called making bacon.
Bacon bits. So, for those not educated in sex ed, that's how it's done.
I do enjoy bacon. Anything that is making more bacon, it's a beautiful. I'm gonna blow this picture up real big so it's full screen so everybody can get a real good look. Oh yeah, it is a beautiful thing, man. I smelled some. So I mentioned I hadn't drank for a while. I was doing a little like cleansing with my wife where we're only drinking this green drink and eating some vegetables for about 10 days. I did slip up halfway through and eat some popcorn and pizza, just real quick, and then I jumped right back in it. But
it doesn't count though. It doesn't count as long as it's really quick.
Yeah, it's a cheat day.
Yeah, it's real quick. Okay, I'm done. But the last day on the 10th day, the last day, we were down at the park, and somebody somewhere out there was cooking bacon, and I was like, oh my God, where is it coming from? It's a food straight from heaven, I think.
Yeah, that's good. And those are Cooney cross pigs. So the neat thing with those is they'll max out at about 225 pounds for the sows, where typically you're talking like 400 to 600.
I was gonna say that's not too big for a female pig, right?
No,
they stay really reasonable.
I mean, as far as like a small homestead, they've really been a great pig.
Yeah.
That's why I said if we're going to try to, breed anything for reproduction on those, I'm not keeping around, because your boar is going to get 700-800 pounds, and I don't want to dick with that.
No.
So.
I've heard maybe you guys with your knowledge of pigs, maybe you can enlighten me. I've heard this. I don't know if it's true. If a pig like gets out and goes back into the wild, like escapes or something and goes wild, like it'll become feral and actually like undergo physical changes to where you won't even recognize it after a short while. Is that accurate? Can you guys confirm that?
I'm not terribly well versed on that. I was doing some research at one point about feral hogs. And I do know that a lot of them were from like the settlers that came over to the US and brought pigs with them, like from Spain and different places. And some of the pigs got loose, and that's where some of the feral hog populations in the States came from. Like the bloodlines can be traced back to some of those like Spanish pigs and stuff like that. Like, and that's about all I know about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I had known
probably
about
the
that. I
same
just
as with any feral animal that continues on generation after generation, they become more distant from your domesticated animal.
sure. Yeah, I had just heard. Maybe I'm imagining it, but I feel like I'd heard that even if like one of those pigs was to go out into the wild, like after a matter of, I don't know, like months or something, or a year or something, they would actually like physically like start to look more like a feral hog and go back. Maybe I've dreamt this and I'm just completely making it up, but it's all right. We'll see if maybe somebody in the chat.
I think they would interbreed with the wild population, so that's where the future generations would look more like the wild stock.
Right.
So I think there is some accuracy to
See,
that.
I'm imagining like some kind of like Teen Wolf thing happening to the pig, like it's over that it howls at the moon and grows these tusks. This is what I'm picturing in my mind.
Yeah. It's all in the confidence of the delivery.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. I've seen it. You guys, I got another picture for you guys. I want to pull up right now since we're sharing some pictures. It's a clown. It's clearly, I mean, I know that that's a clown pied because clown pied is my favorite morph of all morphs to beat. Is there anything else going on here?
She is also possibly yellow belly too. There were some different genes in the parents, so we're not completely sure. That was actually a highlight of our year just because it was the first clown pied that we ever made. So that was the reason for sharing that.
Yeah,
finally.
That's a good reason. So I've yet to hatch a clown. I got into breeding ball pythons because I wanted to hatch clown pies. And this next coming season is going to be my first chance to. So I can definitely relate to the excitement on hatching an animal like that. Clown pies.
Fingers for you.
Thank you. Yeah, clown pies are my that's it for me. Like, I mean, you can, in my mind, all projects revolve around potentially making a clown pied more exciting. But all I really need is clown pied.
Well, it's definitely like the holy grail of our year. Like it may not be a big deal to some people because some people have been breeding them for years and years, but for us it was a really big deal. So we were super stoked.
No, it's
like you
huge.
Finally hit the odds on one thing, and you've got it stacked up on both ends, and you can still miss it. I mean, that's kind of the kick in the nuts with this industry and this hobby is you don't know what you're going to get. You can breed a visual to a pos het and hit 5 visuals. You can breed a visual to a het and make nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just it is what it is, and keep working hard and wait for it to come to fruition.
What was the pairing that had this?
It was the yellow belly, leopard, clown, het pied, and clown het pied to a pastel
Double het.
Well, pastel het pied, pos het clown.
Ooh, pos
So
het.
we proved out a pos het in the process.
Yeah, we approved her out for pied previously.
Yeah, she was het pied, pos het clown. So we proved out the clown in that go. And we actually hit on 2 clown pieds, so that was super, super fun. We hit on a pair.
Yeah,
That's
It's
awesome.
been a good year for double recessive stuff.
Yeah, we've hit on a lot of double recessives this year. So definitely a lot of holdbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just staring at it right now. They're just beautiful. It's just beautiful the way that the orange bleeds down into the white, and just I don't know. There's something there always has been. So that was one of the first snakes I dropped any like substantial change on. I got one of the ones that TSK produced. Went and picked it up from Colette at the show. It was actually the first reptile show I went to. Went and picked it up from Colette in person. And every time it doesn't stop. Every time I see one, I'm just like, oh, look at that. And that's nice. That's nice position there too. Got the little.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. That's fantastic. I mean, like I said, that's like why I got into breeding. So that's a like it might not be big to some people. To me, when I see a clown, when I see anybody hatch out a clown, I'm like, I'm like in the background doing like little cheers. Yeah, go, you guys catch cloud bites.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a really, really big highlight of our year.
But you guys don't just work with ball pythons. I know you guys. I saw you guys got some Angolans over there. You sent a picture with is that a Angolan ovulating right there, or just with a huge
Yes.
meal? That's an ovulation.
No, it's an ovulation. That's the biggest freaking ovulation I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
like
massive.
she was massive. That picture doesn't even begin to bring it into context. Like she was absolutely huge.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I was trying to capture it. Like I was trying to take pictures from different angles and try to get it, but I mean she's gravid right now, so we're waiting on that clutch very eagerly.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Angolans are great. Like their personality is totally different than ball pythons. Like they're so much more outgoing.
Would you say it's more like the personality is closer to, I mean, like a carpet python in the kind of the way they go around checking things out, or is like, obviously not
no.
obviously not most, like they're not as arboreal as a carpet python.
Yeah, they're
but.
not.
Yeah, they're not really arboreal, and they're not very nippy. I mean, ours aren't, at least. I've heard otherwise from other people, but I mean, the babies are just genuinely curious. Like you open up their enclosure and they're checking you out, checking out what's going on outside the tub. I mean, they're just really inquisitive, and they don't ball up like a ball python does. And I mean, there's really not a whole lot of similarity other than the head shape.
Yeah, they're not hanging on to you. If they're going to go somewhere, you need to hold on to them.
Yeah, they're just they're off.
But I think that's probably where they are so inquisitive that I think that's where people get intimidated. You know, if you take your ball python, you put a hand in front of it, it's going to ball up. You do that to the Angolan, and it's going to go around you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to do what they want to do. But if you have confidence, hey, I'm picking you up, and you're going to deal with it and go in there like that. I mean, what are we, 30 to 40 that we've produced?
Yeah, I've yet to be ever bit by an Angolan.
Any of them.
Ever.
So,
wow.
And our females are about 600 grams in that neighborhood.
I mean, females are pretty good size.
So, and you're just talking about six and a half feet, 7 foot worth of just cool animal.
And they look a lot like, the funny thing is they have this look like, I think what a lot of people, like if you saw a ball python like that, you'd be like, whoa, like I would like the morphs that you would have to put together to make a ball python that looks like that I don't know what they are, but they're maybe some stranger.
And it never fails.
leopard.
Every time we post an Angolan, there's at least one person that's like, oh, what ball python morph is that?
Yeah.
They do have very, very similar heads. I mean, with the eye stripe and everything, it's like, but
the head shape is similar. The eyes are bigger on Angolans. Their heat pits are different. The scales are different on top of the heads. I mean, the head shape is about the only similarity overall.
right. And then they do have that little eye stripe there, which don't they? Am I imagining the eye stripe? They got the little eye stripe.
No, they have the eye stripes.
They're freaking cool. I remember the first time I saw one at the East Bay Vivarium out here in Berkeley, a long time ago, but I didn't really think about would you say it's similar to like a bullet as far as how confident they are? Will they just, like, obviously they're not head shy, will they like push right through your, like kind of push right towards your hand like a Bolin's python, for example?
Yeah, they don't really pull back. I mean, they're not scared of you, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very similar in personality to a carpet python without the nippiness.
Freaking sweet, man. I might have to. Yeah. So you guys have produced. How many years have you guys been producing those?
We've got.
This is what,
right now we've got a couple.
4?
Yeah, we alternate the females. I mean, their clutches are so big that it just takes so much out of them that we alternate seasons. So we
only breed one female a year because we've got 2 full-grown females and we have a few that are getting up there, but they take so long to get to maturity. Like you can't treat them like a ball python either. You can't power feed them for say 2 years and they breed and everything's fine. Like Angolan pythons, ours were 5 years old before we ever bred them for the first time.
Yeah, and
the same thing with our holdbacks. I mean, they're 3-4 years old, and I mean they're just not there yet.
Yeah, they do better. You can't give them a larger meal. I mean, with your ball, I mean you can 4 meals in a ball python and you can ship it. With the Angolans, we do at least 10 meals in those before we'll ever ship them out.
They just don't take to really large meals very well.
Yeah,
and I've seen some that as babies, I mean, they were obese. I mean, I've seen Angolans with fat rolls before it shows. and you can't push them that hard,
So it's
or you
kinda-
shouldn't.
I mean, you're looking at probably twice as many meals at the same size as far as their growth goes.
Yeah.
I mean, because typically, we do like 3 hopper mice before you move up to a weaned. And I probably do 7 or 8 hopper mice before I'll move them up to a weaned mouse.
They're just a lot more slender bodied than a ball python. I mean, they get longer before they get thicker.
Mhm.
So you just have to do what's best for them. And I mean, ball pythons, I consider the exception, because most other python species aren't ready to breed in a year and a half to 2.5 years.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
probably
ball
some of
pythons are
the
pretty
quickest
good.
pythons, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
I think that's probably why there's so few of them out there still, is just because of the patience level that's
Yeah.
required in order to breed.
So
I mean, that, and they don't have color morphs or anything. I mean, I've seen some with stripe, some kind of striping, a little bit of pattern variation, but there's no albinos, there's no leucistics that I know of. So that
Yeah.
I think is another factor to why they aren't as popular. But
Oh.
I mean, a lot of people are interested in them. I mean, we keep a waiting list for every single clutch. So I mean, there's something to be said about a python that doesn't really have any variation really,
Just
but that still is really wanted and desired. So
well,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool
it's a
in
wicked
itself.
pattern. The pattern is incredible on it. It's a beautiful snake.
They're cool.
Thank
I mean,
you.
everyone should have one of them. I mean, that's just, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're just an awesome animal. Like our adults, we keep them in 4 foot by 2 foot boa cages, which are like the expanded PVC with the plexiglass on the front. But we'll open up a cage and they crawl out on our shoulders. I mean, they're not scared. I mean, they're not scared to come out and kind of see what's going on. And our adults are super inquisitive, just like the babies. So I think there's a lot to be said about breeding animals that are relaxed and that are comfortable with being handled.
Yeah.
Well, you guys might have to put me on the list there. Those are cool snakes. So how long is the incubation time? Like how does it compare? Can you run me down like the care incubation?
It's roughly about the same. I mean, but it kind of, instead of ball pythons going a few days short of 60 days, Angolans do tend to go over. So on average, our Angolans hit between 60 to 65 days rather than the 55 to 60 days like ball python. So it's a little bit longer, but not by much.
Which, I mean, we're typically, I guess, longer in that period than most
I mean,
people.
we
I don't
incubate at 87 anyway, so it does take a little bit longer for ours.
Yeah, we're usually 61, 62 days on ball python eggs. So
And what like how long until they have their first shed?
That's about the same as well. I mean, a couple weeks.
Okay, so not too far. The one thing that tripped me out about blood python, I produced a blood python clutch last season, and they
I've heard.
oh, you heard?
I've heard they take forever to shed.
Oh,
They
yeah.
may not shed for several months.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they incubate for the same as ball python. It's like right around the 55, 60 day mark is incubation, which is the exact same. But yeah, they after a while I was like, are these things ever gonna literally? I think the first one shed after about 6.5 months, and then some didn't
Wow.
shed for even longer than that. And then they were eating like they took like some of them had well, it's like we're talking like 15 meals or something before they had their first shed.
yeah,
That's
fun.
crazy.
It was crazy. I was like, that's why I was curious
Just like
about
when they
the
have their first shed. I mean, is there a drastic color change? We haven't produced any blood pythons. We have some that were growing up, but
No, I wouldn't say there's a drastic color change. In fact, they stayed like, they obviously had the egg skin on forever. So you're like, well, there's that egg skin. But I also kept them on. I paid attention to how Matt at Philly Herp does his because he had a lot of experience with them. And I understand he kept them on just like a little bit of water, basically like a water substrate almost. And so that's how I was keeping them so that it does keep that egg skin nice and moist. You're not seeing like dried out egg skin or anything. They look nice and shiny
Yeah.
the whole time and smooth. But no, not a. They're another one of those species, kind of like a lot of different carpet pythons, that they start off not as incredible as they end up looking as adults. Like they start off kind of more of a coppery, brownish tinge, and then they get those reds start to come in the older and older they get. Like I got the big mama female now is just huge and just red and yeah, but not right away. Like they eventually change that color.
Yeah. Yeah, they do seem to get a lot better with age. We've got a friend that does a lot of blood pythons, Ryan Rumbley, and he's got some really amazing stuff. But I mean, like some of his babies that he's produced were nice, but like you see them in a couple years and it's like, holy crap. Like those animals change so drastically as they get larger.
Yeah, they do. They're fun. I like they're I don't know how I was talking to somebody today about that they may be like if you're looking to breed a different species other than if you know say you've got your feet wet breeding ball pythons and you were looking to try a different species. I thought bloods would be the easiest transition,
Yeah.
just because the keeping is very very similar. Most things are similar, I would say. Oh yeah, Matt, my buddy Matt over at O'Malley's Morphs. He's in the chat right now. Oh, you guys got your first super chat too. And we're talking about that. And here
Is there a way for us to see the chat? I don't see
if
anything on our end.
If you pulled it up on YouTube, you'd be able to see it. I don't know, on your phone or something. You can see the chat on there.
Huh.
In fact, speaking of the chat that I've been ignoring, like I always do, every time I do this is my MO. I get my guests on in a live stream where there's chat, and Christopher Sexton just tested the super chat to see if it's working. It is working. But boom, thanks, Chris. And yeah, if you guys have any questions for these guys, I know I've been hogging them, which is usual. But I do always, as the little scrolling thing at the bottom says, I do come through and we grab questions from the chat always. Even if I hog my guests for the first 50 minutes of the hour, we do get to questions out of the chat. So that always happens. I've never not taken questions from the chat ever. Another super chat from that jeweler guy. So I did a live stream on the vlog channel where I did like a little like I was kind of it was ridiculous. I don't want to go into it actually. But that jeweler guy had a lot to do with that live stream. Let's just say that. And then he got another super chat from Jason over at Morph Mixology. And he said glad to support these guys. Back the blue heart. I don't know if you guys
Okay, I'm on the chat now.
There you go. Now see that. Now they can see you guys are on the chat. It's over now. It's over. They're gonna.
I'm gonna be like, bye, Brian.
I need to, like I was telling you, my buddy Bradley moving back to Arkansas. When I come out that way, I'm definitely gonna. We'll have to. I'd love to check out you guys' farm and maybe like fly drones over some pigs trying to crawl over each other or something like that. Would be real fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to do that, man. I love going out, and it's been a hell of a thing since I moved back from the island and meeting all the people that are into animals like this, man. It's been I met some really really cool people. I mean, you guys included, man. It's been an awesome little journey ride. It's like I kind of wish that everybody could do stuff like they like get into something like this and find this, whatever it is, this thing I've stumbled in here in the last 5 years, man. It's been, as you guys know, you guys do enough shows.
What's neat, and I was thinking about this earlier because, you go, well, what are we going to talk about tonight? you never really know. But it's neat how far that this hobby has come. And I was thinking about, even people we've dealt with, you go all the way across the board. I mean, from doctors and lawyers to plumbers. I mean, we've sold animals and helped people, from all walks of life, all coming together to, for one animal, and we're still working hard for us to continue to keep doing what we're doing, and grow and expand, but it's becoming more of a household name animal. The more people that get exposed to it, I mean, that's the other reason you go back to how hard you work at the shows. You always have people come in there that have no inkling to buy anything. They're just kind of checking it out, what the hell is this type of thing. And so you have to try to talk to them and give them good information on, what makes this so unique and why it's not any different from owning a cat or a dog. I mean, we're huge animal advocates, obviously, but if you're exposed to a dog and a cat, the certain ticks, oh, well, they have teeth. Do they bite? Yes, you can get bit by a cat. I've been bit by a kid. I mean, anything that has teeth can bite you. But, the more you're around that, you figure out their body language. But you look at the stuff that people are more likely to keep, and it's what they've been exposed to for a lot of years. Now, as we have people coming in that are getting into stuff, we've noticed a lot that, 5-6-year-old kids that really want, a ball python or certain reptiles. Now they're growing up with that. You're going to see, I think, this industry continue to grow and expand.
Yeah.
As long as we still have some good people that will put forth good information. I take time, if there's a little kid to come up to the table, I'm going to talk to him. If he's got a question, we'll sit there and answer it, try not to push anybody off that way and take that time to, spread good knowledge.
Speaking of bite here, I'm going to show you guys something. This is my buddy Brian Gundy. Posted this. He posted it publicly, so I have no problem showing it. But I always tell people, like, I'd rather get bit by any snake any day of the week rather than a dog or something like that. And look at that. That's Brian's hand and wrist. I think that was just the other day. He's
Yeah, but by a dog?
Yeah, by a dog. His post says, anybody else that wants to see this, I mean, you can see it here, I guess. But Brian put this up on his Instagram. His post just says, I keep telling myself, I love dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs. But dude, he looks jacked up, man. And I know that guy does love dogs. He really does. But it's just that proof to show, like what you were saying, how the dog might bite. He's got teeth, and there's some pretty serious teeth.
You're 100% spot on. I mean, a dog bite's going to be worse than anything that you can deal with here. I mean, aside from venomous stuff, but
yeah.
I mean,
I think it's more fear of the unknown than anything. Like people have been bit by their cat. People have been bit by their dog. They've never been bit by a snake. So it's like, until they get that first bite, they don't know what to expect. So it's that fear of, like, I don't know what's going to happen. But then,
you let one bite you at Arlington one year for a lady.
Oh no, it was a guy. He was looking into ball pythons, and he never did buy anything from us, but he was just researching and getting information. And like, one of his questions was, well, how bad is it when they bite you? And I'm like, hey, like, I've got an asshole clown. Let me get him out. And I mean, I took one for the team right there, and he's like, oh, well, that wasn't bad at all. I'm like, yeah, like it was nothing. There wasn't even blood. So it's just, once people realize that it's really nothing and it's so superficial, they're fine with it.
It definitely can be, especially the ball python. I mean, it's funny you said clown and bite and no blood, because that happened to me today. I was, like I said, I was taking pictures here at Freedom Breeder of all the like 250 snakes, and I was like, it was my goal. I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of every single one of these snakes, and I'm like, get bit by one. These guys got some pretty, like, as far as ball pythons goes, these guys, their snakes are on fire. I don't know if they're just, they keep them a little hotter or something, but everyone that comes out is just like, one of them, like 4 out of 5, and that might be called lightly, is going to take a swing at you. And so I just like had him, and then Jesse came in and distracted me, and it bit me. It was a clown. One of the clowns was like, my favorite morph bites me. I was like, damn it, Jesse, get over. But and I looked, and there was no blood, and I was like, and then blood never showed up. I was like, what the hell? We're talking about like an 800-gram snake. I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't care. I actually like to get bit by snakes sometimes, especially the ones that'll chew on you and get like a little acupuncture just for fun.
Yeah.
But
it's always, I get bit by way more hatchlings than anything else. It's usually when we're putting stuff up too.
For me, it's pictures. Like, I'm in there, like, holding the camera or messing with the camera remote on one hand, so I've got a tripod, I've got the little button thing. I'm messing with the snake with the other hand, and Matt, like, comes in the room and asks me a question. I'm still messing with the snake, and I get freaking tagged. I'm like, damn it!
And then I
laugh. And he laughs. I'm like, get the fuck out of here! It's always like whenever you're distracted that you get nailed, or during feeding or something.
Yeah,
like,
that's all it was.
Frozen thawed, and everybody's like, oh, well, frozen thawed, they're not going to have a feeding response. Like, no, that is a lie. They absolutely have a feeding response. They come out of their tubs for it. Like, they don't care if it's frozen thawed.
Oh yeah, big time. I've only fed frozen thawed for the last like 3 3.5 years, maybe something like that, and do every one of my like I'll do feeding videos sometimes, and just every single one just bam, just bam, it comes just like little lightning explosions
Oh,
every
Earth
time,
Bar.
every
That's
time.
crazy.
A lot of people talk about how, oh, it takes so much longer to do that. I timed it one day. I was under 8 minutes to feed a 40 series rack, or, 40 tubs in that rack in under 8 minutes. So I don't know. You get into that routine. We use a blow dryer, so it's like that vibration, the new smell of it getting heated up. They know.
And like any other day, they're chill. But feeding day, I mean, it's game on. They don't care.
Yeah.
You better be quick. Is all I gotta say.
Yeah, I built.
But we had Ryan stay for that feeding night that one night, because usually he just cleans and leaves, but he stayed for feeding, and he was like, "Holy crap!"
I like feeding night. But feeding snakes has always been fun. So I kept my first snake when I was 4, and then I've always loved feeding snake. It hasn't gotten old still. So like 30 something years later, I'm still just sit there and watch them. It's like, oh, it's cool. Oh man. Okay. Hey guys in the chat, I said I was gonna take some questions from chat. Now's the time. If you guys have a question that's for that jeweler guy again, dropping coins always over here, jeweler guy. Thank you, man. This guy. Oh, so the stream I was talking about, I did a family friendly striptease on my vlog channel for a live stream one time, and people were dropping super chats to like either I gave the option to like remove or put clothing back on, and that jeweler guy was dropping so many. I think he single-handedly got me down to my underwear. He dropped another.
Okay, so to answer that question, for hatchlings, we do start most things on live, but we do try to switch them over. We'll offer frozen thawed, and if they don't take that, then they get live.
Oh, so you start everything on live?
Well, no. We try everything on frozen first.
Oh, gotcha.
We end up starting most of them on live. Some will take frozen right away.
50-50.
I'd say it's higher than that.
Yeah.
Probably 75-25. 25 will take frozen thawed, and then the other 75% will want live to start. But typically, within a few meals, they'll switch over to frozen thawed.
It also depends on my ambition too. If I want to try real hard, I'll turn off all the lights and just use a headlamp with a little red light on it, and that's kind of the secret there. If you go and do that, then that number comes back up over 50. For whatever reason, it works. I know you look like an idiot doing it, but I don't know. It'll do the trick if you do something that's picky.
Well, I think it works because you take yourself out of the equation. They're not seeing this giant hovering over them. They're seeing a light and then the warm rodent. So it kind of, for the shyer ones especially, it works well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've started everything on frozen thawed, and to your point, Matt, it's like the ambition. There's a level of ambition that it takes is like a lot of patience.
It can be frustrating.
Exactly.
You're going through feeding a couple hundred hatchlings, and like 20 of them want to take frozen thawed on the first round. You're like, damn it, please eat.
Well, for us, like our current situation, for me to get live, I drive down to Fort Worth to Big Cheese.
Yeah.
So it's, 11, 12-hour day for me to go get rodents, doing the down and back. So when I do, I buy a shit ton of them. But
someone else asked, do we switch up what we feed between ASFs, rats, mice, or fowl? The only thing we really offer is either rats or mice.
Yeah.
And typically the hatchlings get offered mice until they're big enough to take a weaned rat.
How long will you try, just like on the first feeding, if they don't take frozen thawed, will you offer live after they don't go for the frozen thawed, like in the same feeding, or like how?
Every week. I mean, we'll offer them frozen thawed first, and for the ones that don't take it, they get live.
Gotcha.
I mean, and we get increased numbers that take frozen thawed every week. So, I mean, we just keep trying until they either take it. I mean, there's some that just prefer live, and it is what it is. They'll get what they can take.
Yeah.
But we're not going to force them to take frozen
we
thawed.
mark all that on the cards too. So we go through, we feed our frozen thawed. If whatever doesn't eat, we put a black binder clip on that tub. And then I'll come through after that and we'll feed live.
Gotcha. JBB Reptiles asked, where did the name Snake Eyes Exotics come from?
So I don't know. I don't really have an interesting story for this. It kind of loosely originated from like the snake eyes on the dice and it being kind of a rare occasion that you get snake eyes, and we just kind of went off of that. So it's kind of a lame story. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. You know why? Because Nick Renowned Reptiles. Take care, Nick. Good to see you, bro. Um, I did a little. I've been doing these little like freestyle raps at the end of the streams to hint at who the next guests coming up are. And last week I used that exact example. I went to the craps I don't remember exactly what I said. I did an actual freestyle. I was writing them before. I'd actually write down lyrics and do it, but this one I just like freestyled off the top, and it was something about craps, and if you roll a one, then you roll another one, and you have to give your money away to everyone, something like that. I used that same scenario and somebody guessed it too. Somebody did guess it out. I think it was Shane at Small Town Exotics was like, it's Snake Eyes Exotics.
I love it.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think that was yeah, that's what it was. I don't have. I'm kind of creeping myself out here. I got locked in here one night actually, and I had to sleep on the floor of this office, which is tile, by the way. I'm hoping that's not what's happening tonight, because I'm pretty sure I'm here alone now. Like I don't remember what happened. I was working on something, and then I just got really into working, and it was right here at the desk too. I was here at the desk working, and then slowly but surely everybody left, and then they closed the gate and locked it, so I couldn't leave. And I hope that's not what's happening tonight. I think I'm gonna do my little dance for everybody, just to let people know.
Keep the lights on. It's not working this time.
There it goes.
No, they don't. I guess they stop becoming motion sensors if you leave them off long enough. I had to go all the way up and actually push the buttons to turn them back on.
It's so funny to watch you do like the flapping chicken dance.
I know, I was doing it, but it was just real dark over there. But that's why I put this light up. I knew there were motion sensors light. That's why I put a light up on top, so at least I wouldn't be like just a black screen that you're looking at. I wouldn't want to do that to you guys. You know, I usually start with something like this, but I didn't really ask you guys how you got into keeping reptiles in the first place, and when you did.
So for me, it started as a kid. Like I did the whole like crawling around the woods looking for snakes and just random stuff, and I'd bring them home. My mom was like, "No, absolutely not. You can't keep them." And I'd like hide them in my room, and she'd be like, "Crap, where did that come from?" And then she like started kind of becoming more accepting of it because she knew that it wasn't just a phase. So that's how it started for me. I mean, as far as officially, like, I think the first snake I ever bought was in 2006. And that was God, what was it? I bought a boa, like a red-tail boa from a pet store. And it was like, I mean, it's just a normal male. And I actually still have that snake too. And then Matt and I met, and I'll let you pick up from there.
I'm married into it. Yeah, I never had any of that stuff. Never crossed my mind. I was one of those people, and I guess maybe that's why I'm so ambitious to spread the word. You know, she had them, and it was one of those things. Like I really did it more on my own time because we met at the police department, but we worked same day, opposite shifts. So if she was working, I was, at home for those 12 hours, and you alternate. So I would go in there and start messing around with them, because obviously they're not going anywhere. I mean, you had probably around 100 animals at that time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was just, here's a couple of pets I have. But I was intrigued by it. You don't have this genetic diversity in any other species out there. So once I really started getting into it, then it was just game on. We don't do anything lighthearted. So, like I want this, I want this, I want this, and just throw some money at it. You're breeding, you're holding stuff back. It was a lot of fun, and we just really kept pushing hard forward. And now we're here.
I can dig it.
But yeah,
Anya, did
we've
you
grown
say
together over the last several years.
on your Facebook profile it says you're from Russia? Is that accurate?
Originally, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
1994 is when I moved to the U.S. So it's been ages ago.
Her English is just better than most that grew up here.
I know I don't look it, but I actually have Cusco is Russian. Well, it's Czechoslovakian where it came from originally, but I've got a lot of ties back to Russia. Most people don't see it because of the island stuff takes over, the Filipino kind of. But when I meet people from, like, I met some lady, I was in Greece one time and I met some ladies that were from Russia, and we were chatting a little bit here and there, and they were like, they could see it. They were like, oh yeah, I see that. They could see the Russian in my face. I was like, well, you're the first. I guess it takes like real Russians to see the Russian in my face. I have affectionate feelings for Russia because of that, but I'm glad to know that you were born in Russia.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I was born Southwest Russia in Volgograd, which used to be Stalingrad. So, and all my family is from there. My mom and my brother and my grandparents are the only family I have in the States. Everybody else is still in Russia.
The old country.
The old country. The motherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have pegged it for that. Like, the accent didn't come with you.
Well, if the name didn't give it away, my maiden name.
Yeah. Littlefield's kind of as English as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty English.
My maiden name was Makashova.
Was that again?
Makashova was my maiden name.
Oh, Makashova. It said something about Hogan on your Facebook. I was like, Hogan? That doesn't sound very Russian.
Divorce name.
Gotcha. I was like, what? I was like, maybe I missed something along the way. I was like, gotcha. Well, shoot, guys, I appreciate you coming on. I mean, we're gonna do the after party thing too, but we're gonna leave the main part of the stream here, and I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you guys for coming on. If there's anything you'd like to say to the audience about, there's a link down in the description, guys, for their morph market and their website. If you guys want to go check out what they have available right now and learn a little bit more about them than you didn't learn already on the stream, go down below and find that there. But if there's anything you guys would like to say before we sign off here, go for it.
Well, right now we're working on going through some holdbacks and just listing some more stuff. I mean, I will say the morph market and the website aren't terribly current. So if there's something you guys are looking for, have any questions, just reach out. I mean, there's numerous ways to contact us. So we'll be happy to chat about it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you guys in just a second, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, folks. Well, I think they're awesome. They proved themselves to be just as awesome as I thought they were going to be before they came on. So I'm looking forward to going and flying drones over their pigs, to be honest. That sounds like a lot of fun. And gonna make it happen. Next week, we have another person coming on. I'm not gonna flow at the end this time because I just didn't. I took taking pictures too many snakes. I didn't. There's a lot of things that have to happen for that to happen. So I'm just gonna do a little poetry here to see if we can get it good. He's a fly guy, and if you try before we say goodbye, if you think, well, your brain doesn't hurt. If you remember, there was a shirt that I used to skirt on the back of my seat when I'm moving with my feet. I'm messing up the poetry. That should be enough. If you don't know from that, then thou art not paying close enough attention to what's going on around here. But you guys have yourselves a good night. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.